News. Attorneys for the man accused of threatening to kill Congressman Scott Taylor want him to undergo a mental evaluation.
13 News Now investigative reporter Laura Geller joins us live in the studio with the new details just coming in. Laura.
Well, guys, lawyers for Wallace Godwin say he is suffering from a mental disease or defect which renders him mentally incompetent to both understand the proceedings against him and assist in his defense. This motion was just filed in federal court, and the U.S. Attorney's Office is not opposing it. You may remember the Virginia Beach man is charged with going to Congressman Taylor's office and threatening Taylor and his aides back in March. Godwin's lawyer writes the 69-year-old was evaluated in 2017 by a doctor who diagnosed him with delusional thinking. Attorneys have also looked at records from Western Tidewater Jail where Godwin is being held. Both sides have approved asking the court to order local doctors to perform the mental evaluation. Another proposed motion we found in the file asks for these medical records to be sealed. Of course, we will reach out to Taylor's office for his reaction to this latest development. Laura Geller, 13 News Now.